everybody, it's Doug here, Doug Mystic Eye on Board Game Geek, Doug Herring on YouTube. Just getting ready to do a new playthrough of a new game that I just received via Kickstarter. It's, as you can see, Transylvania Curses and Traitors, a game by Lauren and Jamie Cunningham. Yeah, so this game was one I kickstarted because I just like the Gothic theme and I think it's a cool concept. It is not a game that you can play solo, but I'm going to play a 4-player competitive game for you. My intent is to play the entire game through. I don't know how long the game lasts. I think it's 40 to 90 minutes. I'll put the stats up on the screen so you can see what the game in time frame, age group, things like that. It'll be there for you right now. And we're going to talk about the setup of the game and then we're going to get into a turn or two. I'm going to show you how this game works. So get ready. I think you're going to enjoy this one. It's going to be a wild ride, but it will be a lot of fun. So let's get going. So in Transylvania Curses and Traitors, we are playing a group or individual adventurers in a quest to basically win. And there's a couple ways that you can win. So, and I'm not going to go over too much of the details, but I'm going to put a how to win card up on the screen right now just so you can see it. But basically you have to collect 5 knowledge cards. You must have at least 1 card from each of the 3 curses marked by the K's. You see there's the vampire, the werewolf, and the zombie. You can also have a general knowledge card that may replace one of the 3 from above. That's a K with a book behind it. And you can return you're basically, well, that's one of the ways to win. There are other ways to win. So you can win by turning into a monster and killing all of the other players, or killing an X number of the other players. Depends on how many players are in the game. You can also win by defeating a monster. So a monster doesn't come out. So there are 3 monsters in the game. Everybody starts off as a human player, and I'll show you the characters as we go. But you could end up during the course of the game dying, which means you would come back possibly as another player, another character, human character at the church, or you could be transformed into one of the 3 monsters: a zombie, a werewolf, or a vampire. And once you've transformed into those, you can then attack the other players and try and beat them to win. And again, it's based on the number of players in the game, but you can kill the other players and take their stuff and do all kinds of cool things. Pretty neat. There's lots of events and things to discover in the game, and we're just going to quickly cover the characters, and then I'm going to cover the actions in the round and how that works. So let's go to the characters right now. So what we're going to do here is, since we're going to be playing a 4-player game, our character is going to be the hero. Now the hero, as you can see, has and I'll describe very quickly what the stats are. You got a movement of 7, basically a fight of 4, a mind of 3, and a spirit of 4. And that's gonna be our basic stats. Every character starts off with 6 hit points. So we're all going to have the same hit points in the beginning. But the hero also has a special ability, which is the Rampart ability. It says, making a heroic stand, you may automatically succeed at an event card, gaining the highest benefit possible. So you'll see how that plays out as it goes. These special abilities are one-to-game abilities. You only get to do them one time in the game. So we're going to see all of the cards of the hero, because that'll be our character, and I'll show you what their cards are. But the other ones in their hand will remain secret. Now you have you can have 4 cards in your hand and an additional 4 cards examined in front of you. And those are cards that are active in the gameplay, and there's ways to swap them out, and I'll talk about that when we go through the turns. So again, with the hero, I'm going to show you her hand, and that's going to be us, and you'll see the cards she plays. But on the other ones, you're only going to see the cards that they have played and examined face up, the 4 possible cards that they could be doing with that. So, who are we going to be competing against? First, we're going to be competing against the big game hunter. As you can see, he's got a movement of 7, a combat of 5, a mind of 3, and a spirit of 3. Actually, the combat's called attack. It's just the only time you use attack in this game is when you're fighting monsters and heroes. Heroes can't use their attack to fight each other. Not until they are, or I should say characters, not heroes, but not until one person is a monster can the players actually kill each other. They can fight each other, but not attack and kill each other. And I'll explain how that goes later on, but you can definitely encounter each other in the spaces. And then next up, now the special ability of the big game hunter is Stealthy Strike. And what that does is it says use your tracking skill to sneak up on a monster, adding 3 to the result of your attack, and you'll understand what that means when it happens. So trait roll on your attack trait roll on the monster. So that means when you attack a monster, you can play that and do a sneak attack. So next up we have the Abbott. Now I drew these out at random. There are several other characters, but this is the ones we drew. The Abbott has a 6 movement, 3 fight, 4 mind, and 5 spirit. So obviously a spiritual being, a person. And the Abbott's ability, and by the way, there is a male and female side to each of these cards, and there's standees for both the male and female characters, so I picked one of each. The hero, our character, is going to be female. Big game hunter's a male, Abbott's a male, and then our last character will be female. Anyway, the Abbott's ability is Divine Intervention. It says pray to discard any single card in your possession or on the church tile for free. I don't know how valuable that is yet, but I guess we'll find out. And then last up, we have the Sleuth. And the Sleuth basically has a movement of 7, fight of 3, mind of 4, spirit of 4, and the Sleuth ability is called Easy Access. It says use your lock-picking skills to add or remove up to 3 locks on the turn that you have passed over. So you'll see how that goes when I talk about movement on the board. So those are the 4 heroes. Again, our hero is going to be... for characters. Our character is going to be the hero. Now, as part of setup, I haven't done this yet. You get each of the characters, I'm just going to scroll down so you can see ours and most Taylor's, get a starting discovery card. So I'm just going to place one down right here on each of the characters. I'm going to do ours last. And so those are the starting discovery cards. What do we get? So we get, for our starting discovery card, the Mad Scientist Notebook. Now, if we have that in play, that's a general knowledge card, which is cool because that can count toward our knowledge to win the game or become a monster or any number of different things. You'll see how that works. And it's going to give a +2 hand on it. That's really good. +2 mind and -1 spirit. It says the notes of a madman, but you do find the readings very interesting. Perhaps he was onto something after all. So that's our hand, our current starting hand, and we're going to start with that. The other ones you're not going to see. We'll play those in secret, and when they come out, you'll get to see them. So now let's talk about the turn itself. So first off, I did touch on the ways to win, but I'm going to specifically go over the 3 different ways to win. And what you see in front of us is the starting tile. That's where all of our heroes. This is the church, and I wanted to keep the character figures off it because the artwork is actually very beautiful. Really good artwork on these, and the church looks really neat. But we're going to put the characters up here, and I haven't finished setting this up because I wanted you to see what it looked like that way. And you can see we have all of our character standees right here. Now, so how do you win? There are 3 possible ways. You can break the curse. Now, how do you do that? You have to be the first adventurer to return to the church with the 5 knowledge cards. You must have at least 1 for each of the monster types. And these cards will come from your hand and from your examined cards. And those are the ones that you play in front of you that are active. Then the other way is you can transform them into a monster and kill adventurers. And that's again, that's based on the number of players. Also, I think it's dependent the monster itself it matters, but we'll see how that goes. And then you can attack and defeat a monster as well. And so. And all you have to do is do that once. The monsters are pretty tough, so if you can succeed in attacking a monster who will be a fellow player, then you will win. But let's talk about the turn itself now. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to perform your actions. And you can perform any one of these actions. Now, a lot of it's hinged on your movement because you can move and do something, move and do something. As long as you can keep doing that, you can continue on. But you're going to move. You're going to collect discovery cards, and that's one of the things you do during the game is collect discovery cards by overturning discoveries, which will be tokens on the board, and you'll see how that works. You can challenge other adventurers, and we'll cross some of these bridges when we come to it. You can pilfer corpses. That means if a player dies, they leave their stuff there and they mark it with a token, a blood splatter token, and you can go pick them up. You can examine and 1 discovery card that you can remember. You can do all of these in a turn. So if you have a discovery card in your hand you want to examine, that means you play it down in front of you. You can discard a card. that means you can get rid of one of your cards. You can, and I think it's one of any cards, but I'm going to have to go through some of the rules. Again, I do want to say this is a learning session for me. I'm going to preface that. I have not played this game before. As you've experienced with me in the past, sometimes that works out wonderfully, and sometimes it's a challenge. I don't think this one's going to be too much of a challenge. The rules are fairly straightforward, though I can promise you I'll probably make a mistake or two. Again, you can attack a monster. If you're a player, you can attack a monster, or vice versa. If you're a monster, you can attack a player. You can make a determination roll, and that's what happens if you can't get stuff going on the board, like you can't pick up a discovery card or discover something. And then you can discard down. You have to discard down to 4 cards in your hand because it's the most you can have. So that is the basic setup. Now we're going to build out a map by moving and discovering things, and when we do that, we're going to be placing tokens on the board. So let me do that for the main token so you can see what that or the main board here, the starting board, the church, so you can see what that looks like. So the last thing we do in basically getting ready to set up to play, and I will take our first turn in this video, is to start with our first player and pick where they're going to be on the board. Now we're going to be the first player, the hero, because I've got them in just an order that's going to make it easy for me to keep track of their turn. So this is our standing. Now we have to pick a spot on the board. I think just to make it easy, we're going to go right here and say that's where we're going to start. Now, since there's 4 players, we can kind of pick the 4 compass points. I think the big game hunter will go over here. The sleuth will go down here. I'm sorry, it doesn't really matter what order we start in, but that's the way we're going to start. So they're all basically taking cardinal positions in the around the church so that they can prepare to leave and explore a new tile. Now we could say that one of them started here and it follows another player, but to me the logic seems that they would do it this way. There is a path, see, on each one of those. Now movement is interesting. You can move, stop, take an action, move, whatever. It's you can keep going until you run out of movement. You can also backtrack, so I could move here, then go back if I want to. It's perfectly plausible to do that. And we're going to run into lots of things on the tiles, events, all kinds of crazy stuff. So we'll show you that as we go. But why don't we do this? Why don't we get busy with our first turn and see how that goes? Of course, we're going to start with our character, the hero, and get her going on her adventure. By the way, y'all, I was originally going to do the awesome new Dungeons & Dragons release of Castle Ravenloft, and I even have the painted miniatures from the D&D 5th edition starter set I was going to use. And oddly enough, one of my awesome fellow YouTubers that produce these games, Paul Darcy, is already doing one. So, and with the painted miniatures from the starter set, which is pretty funny. We were on the same wavelength there. So I'm going to let him run his first, then I'll run mine later, and that way he can be the guinea pig and I can cheat off of him to make sure I'm doing it right. But if you do want to see that, which I highly recommend, his videos are awesome. His name on YouTube is Paul Darcy. I think it's on BGG it's Nyarl, N-Y-A-R-L. And you can also find him on Tube Tables, which is our guild that has a bunch of us in it that do this. So I highly recommend going there. There's a bunch of great people there. The Lonesome Gamer, Ricky Royal, Tragic the Blathering, the Gamer's Batcave, Tina the Board Game, all kinds. If I start naming them all, I'll feel embarrassed if I miss one. So we're going to leave it there. But let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is move. And to move, we're going to first move off of this tile. So we got this big stack. And by the way, these are big tiles. I can't begin to tell you. I mean, well, here you go. Here's my hand. That gives you an idea, right? Boom, big tiles. Okay, so we're going to draw a tile for our character and move on to that space. And what do we get? So we got the town east. Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense since we're moving west, but we'll leave it at that. So what we have to do is we have to line up the entrances and make sure everything's right. So it's going to go right here, and that's going to be the first of our 7 movement points. Now I'm going to populate this, and I'll show you what I'm doing once I get it done so you can see what we're populating here. So populating our tile. So we have these tokens, and underneath these tokens are discoveries that we have to, challenges we have to overcome. And we're going to take these and we're going to populate the tile here on each one of these spaces with one of those. Now some of them also have footprints and locks, like this one here. So we're going to put that there. Then we're going to take one of these tokens that has a footprint and a lock on it, and we're going to put it on top of there. That means we need to unlock it before we can actually access it. Now in the middle here you see this green big footprint with a lock on it. That means we're going to put a lock token like this on there. That is a secret passage. If we do uncover the other green circle, then we can go to that secret passage. But for now, we're just going to put a lock on it. And then lastly, we need to put another discovery token right there. And that is our board setup. Now, we've only moved one. Now, I can pass through, I have to look this up again, but I believe I can pass through here to get to these. And I can also go up to this one and see if we can unlock that and get to it. Might be worth doing. I'm not sure. Let me think about the rest of our movement. I wanted to double check the rules on that one bit there about that locked gate. Secret passage, I believe I can pass over them, but I want to be sure. Yeah, so they do not inhibit movement. So we have a couple of choices. I could take the easy route. I could pass through here and just hit these. These are not locked, and that might be a better way for us to go up here on the east side of town. I think we're going to do that. So I have 6 movement points left, so we're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we didn't quite get to any discovery tokens this turn, which means we're going to get to make a determination roll. I could do a bunch of things. So I could play a card. I could. We still have other things that we can do. We can roll for discovery tokens, which we didn't do. We can challenge players, pilfer corpses. We can examine one of our discovery cards. So I think we're going to do that. So with what is likely to be the last part of our discovery exploration portion of our turn, I think we're going to discover or examine our Mad Scientist notebook. Knowledge card that gives us these bonuses actually extends our hand. Now we don't need that right now, but we might later, and it also gives us +2 mind. So we're going to examine that, and that simply means that we're going to turn it up, and that will be there for us as a usable item as we go forward. Now, that is basically the end of her turn. Now, her exploration turn. So next up, we would go to her determination roll, because she didn't get to get a discovery card, which means we're going to make a determination roll. She didn't get to a location where she could explore or examine anything. So let's go do that. I am doing more explanation now than I will in future turns, but let's go do that. Before we talk about dice and get to rolling for our determination, I do want to say I put the wrong token on the secret space. It should be this one, because you can pass over it. If you put the other one like on a gate or something, it actually blocks movement, and you can't get through to those areas. And this secret passage does not do that. So let's talk about the dice. So the dice have a number of wolf heads on there. Now that only really matters to you if you are a werewolf. Otherwise, it is a nothing, a 0. And then you also see that it has a 1, 2, and a 3. So what we're doing in this is we want to be able to increase one of our stats. So for example, since we took a hit on our spirit and it's right now a 3, let's do that one because it's going to give us our best chance to succeed. What we have to do is roll 3 dice. If we roll less, we roll a 2 or less. So in other words, the higher your stat, the harder it is to achieve. If we roll a 2 or less on the 3 dice, then we're going to succeed at gaining a spirit. So let's roll that and see what happens. Well, we didn't. We rolled a 4, so she failed her determination. That is basically the only thing she gets to do. Then we get to do cleanup, which, discard cards, etc., clean up her turn. That's really it. She doesn't get to do anything else at this point. So now we're going to move on to the big game hunter. I'm going to review this one more time just to make sure I didn't miss anything, and then we'll continue on. Okay, so here's our big game hunter. He's about to leave the church. This is our guy right here. Now, you don't get to see what his cards are and what items he's got. So he's gonna play against us. Now he's got 7 movement as well. So for his first movement, he is gonna move that way and discover tiles. So let's see what we get here. This is, by the way, in his exploration phase. There's 3 parts to the turn. There's the exploration, the determination, and then the cleanup phase. So we are in the which is the meat of the game, the exploration phase. So he's wandered onto the windmill path here. So we're going to put that right here. And let's see if I got all of that in camera. I do. And we're going to have to get some determination tokens. I got these all randomized over here. I do not know what they are. We're going to place 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. And none of them are locked. And that is good because this is how you get tokens. Now, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to stop there and we're going to attempt this discovery token. This is not locked, so he doesn't have to do anything with it but attempt it. Now, I'm going to flip this over, and there's going to be a stat and a number. And this is what we have to overcome in order to succeed. So he's got looks like a spirit 4. That's probably his worst stat that he has to overcome. If he does that, then he gets the benefit of doing so. In this case, it would be to draw a discovery card. So as you can see, the big game hunter's got a 3 for his spirit, but he needs to roll a 4 or better on the 3 dice. He has to meet or exceed. So if this was the hero and we had made that roll last time, we would have succeeded with our 3 dice. But let's see if the big game hunter succeeds at that. Now the big game hunter, you know, we all know what that is. If he fails to do that, the discovery token actually stays there. We know what it is, and other people can go attempt it. So what he got, he actually succeeded. So he got a 3, 4, 5. That's going to overcome this token, so he has succeeded at that. We're going to discard this token. And we're basically creating a discard pile of tokens that will get recirculated later. And now he gets to gain the benefit of a discovery card. So now our big game hunter is going to just draw a discovery card. I'm going to look at this off camera because there may be an action that I must take from this discovery card. Sorry, camera's a little crooked. And I will tell you if we must do something with it or if he just gets to put it in his hand. So let me take a look. Okay, so no, he does not have to do this now, but I'm going to determine whether he wants to or not. So on a card, there is some flavor text. There is a green thing that is optional. Then there's a red thing that you can do as well. And you'll see how this works during the gameplay. So what I'm looking at is he does not have to do this. So I believe, but I'm debating on whether or not he wants to. Let me think about that and I'll be right back. So yes, the big game hunter is going to play this card, and I'll read it to you now. It is called Salt. It says an old woman gives you a bag of salt and then blesses it. She tells you that it will keep away evil spirits. Once this card is examined, which is what we're doing now, you may discard this card and any examined card in front of you or on the church tile. So we don't need to do that, but the only reason I'm doing this now is now we can do that at any time to discard this and any other one. We also have this, which is discard this card when you are attacked. The attacking player must abandon their chase until after your next turn so you can get away. But it gives us a +1 spirit. So remember, we can only play 4 cards, but there's ways to get rid of them. So we're going to keep the 1 card that we have, the big game hunter, and he's going to play that. So he's got the salt in front of him that gives him a spirit bonus. Okay, that is basically the end of the turn for the well, no, he's got 1 more movement point, so let's go wrap that up. I think he's going to give himself some options. He's going to go right there. That way he can take off there, or he can head down toward these other locations. But now we're going to get on to the Abbott. Yeah, so I think the Abbott, we're going to start his turn. Now, you know, there was also a cleanup phase, etc. for the big game hunter, but we really didn't have to do anything. It was all clear and nice to go. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start the turn, our exploration phase for our Abbott. And he is going to venture northward. We might as well keep the tradition going and just keep exploring. So we're going to draw another tile. We got the graveyard, and as you can see, it's got quite a bit going on. So we're going to put that up there. Okay, and let's get some tokens out. So we got a bunch of exploration tokens here, here, and here. We also have a couple of event sites there, which are different. You haven't seen those before, and I need to get a couple of locks out. Got one here, blue secret passage, which could be helpful later. I think I saw another one down here. Nope, take it back. It looks like, well, yeah, here we go. This is a gate right here, so this is locking this area, so when he has to go through this gate to get to there. And then we have a lock token right there, not one there, and not one there. So that is the setup. You can see there's 3 areas where events will take place, and we have a big event deck that can happen as well. But now we're going to continue to move. So the Abbott has got a movement of 6. So we're going 1, 2, make it easier ourselves, go 3, 4 to right here. We'll uncover this token, see what we get. Mind. So we have to make a mind roll, and let's see if we can get that done for the Abbott. Now, the Abbott does get 4 dice for mind rolls, and he's got to score 5 or better to get a discovery token. So 3, 4, 5 exactly. So he succeeded, and sorry, discovery card. So this token goes into our discarded discovery bag. Right now, that's a bowl. But anyway, then he gets a discovery card. What is he? Oh, you're not supposed to see that. Oh, bummer. Okay, anyway, boom. So he succeeded that. That was, let me see, let's go back to the board. That was 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. So we can continue to move. Let's go here, 5, and then 6. He could try to unlock that. Now let's go to the event. So he's going to go to the event space there, where he will spend his last movement encountering an event. Let's see what he gets. Now this is something that gets turned up publicly, I believe. Yeah, okay, so we've run into a stone angel. It says, you walk through an area littered with tombstones and come across a stone angel, its eyes open. Make an attack roll. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time reading it. So you have to make an attack trait roll. Now his attack trait is 3, so let's go to the dice bowl. Okay, let's roll for that and see what we get. Probably going to take a picture of this Stone Angel card so I can have it up on the screen. We're going to roll 3 dice and we're going to have a result. We really were looking for, I think, a 5+, but we did not get that. We got a 1. So what happens there? We lose, oh my gosh, 0 to 1. We lose 3 health in that event. And then we discard this card if not examined. So we can only examine this card if we roll a 5+. So that is going to go away, and our Abbott is going to take a wound with 3 wounds. So he's 6-5 down to 3. Bam! That was a rough turn for him. But while he's here, he's thinking he's going to play a card, and I believe he's going to play. Yeah, we're going to play a Crucifix card. That's going to give him +1 spirit. So he's got a 6 spirit right now. And that Crucifix card is now been examined and is in play. Now it says, when facing a vampire, add 2 to the total of your attack trait roll. So he's good against vampires right now. Anyway, that is going to be his turn, and we're going to end it there. Now he could discard a card, but he doesn't want to. So we're going to go to his... Now, he did actually get a discovery card, so he doesn't get a determination roll, and that's going to go to his cleanup phase, which is essentially done. So I might be making a mistake passing over some of these locked ones right now to get the low-hanging fruit. I don't know. Don't know the answer to that. But it doesn't matter. We're going to keep going. So right now we have our Sleuth. Now remember, we can use these special abilities, but I haven't seen a reason to do that yet for anybody. So we're going to do the same thing with the Sleuth. We're going to head south. Now this is probably going to start changing after the haunted house. Nice. Okay, so we're going to put that there. We're going to start getting our exploration tokens out on the board. You see there's an event and exploration here. It is not locked. This one is not locked. This one is. And then we also have a locked secret passage here and a locked token right there. So he's got, now that the explorer, the Sleuth has a movement of 7. So I think we'll start by going 1, 2, 3 to here. We're going to try and get a discovery card from here. It is a mind 4. Now the Sleuth has a 4 mind, so that's pretty good. We got a good shot at this. Let's see if the Sleuth can discover something to make sure about the cards. Well, okay. Yeah, okay. Here's what we're going to roll here. So let's do that. Wow, 6. So absolutely made this roll. So this gets discarded. And we get a discovery card. Of course, you're not going to get to see what that is. And we are going to put that in the Sleuth's hand. Now, she doesn't do anything with that, but she's going to take this opportunity to examine one of her cards. It's the skeleton key. It says a large old key. It seems to fit any lock that you can find. When this card has been examined, you may open any lock. That's pretty powerful. So we're going to go back to the board. Now remember, she has moved a little bit already. She moved farther. So she had moved 1, 2, 3. So we're going to go 4, 5, 6, 7. She's on her way down to this locked door into the haunted house. Interesting. Well, guys, so that is going to basically be the end of her turn. Now, she doesn't make a determination roll because she was able to get a discovery card. And then there's cleanup, and that is going to mark the end of the turn and the end of our first set of turns. So, guys, this is the beginning of Transylvania, Curses and Traitors. Pretty simple, straightforward first turn. We're collecting discovery cards, collecting events, doing things to beef ourselves up for encounters with one another, or to break the curse and bring the relics that we need back to the church. So, that said, I hope you enjoyed this first little episode, and I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I very much appreciate it. And I look forward to bringing you more of this series. Now, I still have to edit and finish the last episode I have of Forgotten Kings. I did wrap up where I said I would, and I got that completed, so I will get that up soon as well, but I want to get this going alongside it, perhaps with something else as well. I'm trying to see if I can do multiple sessions as they go through at one time, so I can get a variety up for you guys to watch and see. This is an interesting one. I think it's going to be fun to see this through, especially when the characters start to interact with each other and run into each other and cause problems for one another. I love the artwork on the tiles, as you can see on this haunted house tile. It's pretty cool stuff. And I think the theme, I like the theme, the gothic kind of Victorian age vampire werewolf hunters with a curse and all that stuff. Pretty cool. Anyway, this will allow you to see if this game is something you would be interested in. Of course, if I made any mistakes, please let me know. I think I did okay. This is, again, a learning session for me and for you, so I hope you enjoy it. Thanks again, and I will talk to you soon.